Hi friends, Bobcat here in the Art Minds Turbo Doge van. Taking the van today, you don't need that. Taking the van today because it's really hot, it's really humid, there's a chance of storms, I've got errands to run, and frankly, I just didn't feel like riding a motorcycle today. I'm a pretty princess, and you can just deal with it. Sorry, I'm watching a car accident about to happen. No, they didn't. But I am mostly making this video to test out this new dashboard mount. I was normally using one of the kind of the rectangular GoPro stands that came with it, and I found that with the mic adapter and the microphone on itself and putting it up a little bit, it just became too top heavy, and it really wasn't stable, and it wasn't grippy enough, so it would slide around, and I really had trouble recording road video. So, that being said, here we are. And I'm on my way to beautiful downtown Annapolis to do some magnet fishing, which is taking an industrial heavy-duty magnet, tying it to a sturdy rope, dunking it in your favorite sketchy body of water, and seeing what sticks to it. It's sort of a combination of trash collecting and treasure hunting, and who doesn't like those things? I've kind of always wanted to do it. It's been I fell down a YouTube hole. Basically, there are people that wander around the country with real heavy-duty magnet setups and heavy-duty ropes, and they're pulling out like whole motorcycles and like giant gun safes and crap out of the water. Depending on what historic stuff or what historic area they're in, they're pulling out like Civil War bombs, munitions, that find guns all the time, and these are all in like horrible shape, but this is stuff people just want to make disappear and chuck in the water, and these people find it. And so me, as the grubby raccoon that I am, I just bought, it was like a starter kit, maybe $25-30, something like that, super inexpensive. Got a 500-pound pull magnet, and came with the rope and some gloves because things are rusty and sharp. Me and my favorite hardware store bucket. And I'm just gonna go see downtown Annapolis what kind of crap I can pull up. See how long I can do it before the cops chase me away. And stay. Oh, you suck. And yeah, I've got a drink and a smoke and a snack. And if the weather, starts to fail, or I just get too hot and grumpy, I can pack it up, no problem. But anyway, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And beyond that, I wanted to talk about toxic masculinity. And if your immediate reaction is, oh God, here we go, you're kind of proving my point for me. You are reflexively responding to a thing that you have been told to hate without thinking about why you've been told to hate it. And if you have listened to people that have explained from their perspective what toxic masculinity is and why it's bad and why you should, kind of avoid it, and you've said, you know what, none of that's for me, good for you. Good for you. You've listened, you've given it some thought, and decided, based on your principles and understanding, that it just isn't for you. And that's okay. That's perfectly okay. Apparently there's also stadium traffic. Who knew? But yeah, toxic masculinity. What is it? If you don't know, but you're just reflexively going, "Mrr," that's part of it. That's a symptom of it, a facet of it. It can be, depending on your perspective and depending on the context you're using it, can be a wide range of things. To paraphrase folk singer Utah Phillips, it is the recipe you have been handed as a man in America for violence in excess, racial excess, sexual excess. It is not exclusive to white men, but I'm a white guy, so this is the perspective that I bring to it, and that I view it through. But it is a whole range of things that people either use to define someone as a man or to define themselves as a real man that are harmful in broadest terms. Is being strong, like, I'm not, but is being strong like a trait of toxic masculinity? No. But is being strong at the expense of your health? Going to the gym and doing steroids and shit to get super ripped, to the point where you hurt yourself. Is being strong so that you can make others do what you want? Is being strong to intimidate? Is all of that toxic? I mean, you're getting what I'm getting at. Another one would be, if you're in a situation that's really, really, really bad, or conversely really, really, really good, and you are super despondent, you're super sad, your girlfriend left you, your dog died, you lost your job, and you're feeling really scared for your ability to take care of yourself and those that you love. You're feeling really sad about that, but you gotta stuff those emotions down. You can't show them. God forbid you cry. That kind of stuff. That's toxic. Or, your loved one is pregnant. You're about to have a baby. You've got a great promotion at work. People recognize you for your ability and what you can do. And you don't feel a thing because you want to play it cool. You don't want to show that emotion. You don't want to feel that emotion. God forbid you feel happy about something, genuinely happy about something. That's toxic. And that's something we're told to do. We're told to have all the time. Other forms of toxic masculinity would be, and this is something people project onto you, it is the assumption that because you've got testicles, you must be able to fix or repair or understand any mechanical, electrical thing under the sun. And if you don't, you are somehow less of a man. Even if you've never had any context or any reason ever in your life to need to know how to, I'm just making up something here, change a garbage disposal in a kitchen. It's not a terribly complicated thing to do. Only reason I know how to do it is because I had to learn. And in fact, only in the last couple of years have had to learn. And I'm 42 now. When we were trying to take care of my dad before he had to go to the assisted living home, his garbage disposal was really broken and it was leaking, and all of these things. And so I'm like, well, better figure out how to do this. But I'm someone that has worked with my hands my entire life. My background in theater production, and now in HVAC and facilities maintenance, that kind of stuff. So I've had to learn kind of how everything works. But the expectation that I know it because I'm a man, that's toxic. And the expectation that, or the assumption that my friends that do computer stuff, which I have no clue about, if I'm being honest, that they are less of a man for not knowing it, that's toxic, that's screwed up. Why would they know? Well, they could call me, because I'll take care of it for them. The trait of being a provider, being a caretaker, being someone that, being a provider, is that toxic? No. Frankly, that's just called taking care of yourself. The way I was raised in a single-parent household with just my dad, there was no women's work. I cooked. I cleaned. Well, rather, he cooked when I was a little kid. He cooked. He cleaned. He mowed the lawn. He cleaned the leaves out of the gutters. He did the laundry. And as soon as I was able to learn how to do those things, I did them too. Not because they needed to be done until a woman was able to show up and take care of them. No, because it's my house. And I gotta take care of my house, and I gotta take care of my family. That's kind of the difference here. If you are a believer in gender roles, that women do these things, men do these things, just take a look at that. Ask yourself why. Why do women need to do those things? Why do men need to do these things? Another example of toxic masculinity is that men need to essentially be prepared to sacrifice their bodies, as in work themselves to death, go off to fight, to engage in violence for preserving reputation or something like that. Mostly it's the go off to fight and work yourself to death because you're a man and you got to work hard and you got to keep working hard no matter how hot it is or how dangerous it is. You got a job to do. Well, I can see the reasoning behind that, but is that because you're a man, or is that because your job sucks? For example, people, working in coal mines, we don't use canaries anymore. We have air filtration, and we have power elevators, and we don't use donkeys, and we don't send children down there. Like, coal mining is coal mining. It's hard, dirty, dangerous work, but it is less hard, less dirty, and less dangerous than it's ever been before. Are the men doing it less manly? You tell them that. You tell a coal miner today that he is less of a man for coal mining today than his grandfather was for coal mining before a lot of these mine safety features. You tell him that and tell me how that goes. People that work on oil rigs, that's pretty dangerous work. I've seen some of the videos where you've got mostly men swinging around giant chains and drill pipe and all kinds of stuff. I have no idea what any of this stuff is, so don't get me on that. But these things are heavy and they're dirty, and one false move and you are wrapped in a chain and crushed to death. Are they doing it because they're real men? Well, they're doing it because that's the job, and that's how that job is done. Hopefully someday in the future that job will be safer. If we're always going to need oil, that's just kind of the way plastics work. But hopefully they'll find that job is safer over time, and their hours are less grueling and arduous over time. I have to crawl in some confined, high voltage, high temperature, dirty, toxic, hazardous kind of spaces for work, because that's where the things are. That's where your air conditioning is, stuffed in your attic or in your crawl space. Am I a real man for doing it? No, it's just my job, man. I just, the air conditioning needs to be fixed, and somebody decided that was a great place to stuff it. Hopefully in the future, we'll be able to put air conditioning systems in places that are easier to get to, But, it's that assumption that you need to do this thing that is dirty or difficult or dangerous or excessive because you're a man, not because of any other thing. And that things that might be considered effeminate, being kind, being compassionate, being generous, being a loving caretaker, being nurturing, that somehow those things are not manly and men should not do them, and men that do them are weak or gay or whatever. That's dumb. That's what makes it toxic. So all I'm asking is that when someone, sorry, I'm reading a sign here. All I'm asking is that when you are given that assumption of this is, oh, toxic masculinity, oh, whatever. Think about it. Just think about what they're trying to say, that makes that behavior or that context that they're talking about a toxic thing. Are they being overly sensitive? Are they trying to manipulate you? Are they trying to control you? Or are they trying to point out that, like, this system, this setup, sucks and should be changed? For me, what makes a real man, and this is shaped by a background in theater, being raised by a single dad, what makes me who I am, frankly, has nothing to do with being a man. I am driven, probably unhealthily, to be a provider, to be a caretaker, to be a nurturer and protector. Nothing to do with being a man. It's just, I was raised to protect the vulnerable. I was raised to provide for the needy. I was raised to care for and to nurture those that are growing up, children and shit, people that are learning, people that are new. I was raised to do that. Nothing to do with being a man. I do the shopping at my house. I do the meal planning. I do the cooking. I do a big chunk of the cleaning. I also do most of the heavy-duty yard work. If things break, I fix them. None of that has anything to do with being a man. I don't tend to wear pink, not because it's girly, but I just don't like how it looks on me. I don't wear jewelry, not because it's unmanly, because I just don't like how it looks on me. I don't like how it feels. I used to have 7 earrings, and I actually want them back at some point. Not because they're girly, but because I just like shiny things, small, subtly well-placed shiny things. I like flowers and gardens as much as guns and motorcycles. None of this has anything at all to do with what is a man, what is manly and what isn't. I don't give a crap. And maybe that somewhere in there street signs. Maybe that somewhere in that I don't give a crap. I will define for myself what being a man is. I will define for myself who my enemies are. I will define for myself what my priorities are. Maybe somewhere in there is what it actually means to be a man. Who knows? But I don't think it has anything to do with manliness at all. So anyway, I guess that is my lecture on toxic masculinity. Something to think about. This kind of stuff rattles around in the back of my head while I am elbow deep in machinery, because frankly, the industry that I work in is incredibly toxic. It is incredibly macho. I'm not saying this is exclusive to the place I'm working now. I've seen it since day one. I've seen it on TV for decades, so it's not, this is not exclusive to where I work. But it's, rampant homophobia. It is working yourself to death because you're a tough man and not because the job needs to be done, and at the moment it's dangerous, and when this danger is past, we can reevaluate this and try and make this job better for ourselves or others in the future. All that jazz. So, I am almost at my exit, and I think I've yacked at you long enough. I hope this camera view has been acceptable. It seems to be a nice, sturdy, stable position. I hope you are safe and well fed wherever you are. I wish you mucho amor. Practice your dry fire drills, and be kind and be ready. Cheers.